Today I'm going to talk to you about how to value your personal injury case in Missouri or Illinois. And there's common misconceptions about how much money you should get from an insurance company after a car collision. I put these in two main categories. The first are the people that undervalue their case. They got hurt, their kids are in their car, they went by ambulance to the emergency room, they didn't have much follow-up care, and the insurance company calls and says, we're going to offer you your medical bills, or $500 more than your medical bills. The next thing you know, they've signed a release, and they've gotten their money, and I meet with those people later, and one of them says, turns out I got a herniated disc, or I've got a shoulder rotator cuff tear, and it was undiagnosed by x-ray, because x-rays only look at bones, they don't look at the soft tissue. And I say, there's nothing I can do to help you. You've settled your case. You signed that release, you took that little bit of money, you undervalued your case. So that's the first category, the people that undervalue the claim. The second category is the people that overvalue their claim. Same set of facts, go to the hospital by ambulance, soft tissue injuries, strain, sprain type, and they think their case is worth $1 million. Obviously, it's not. There are many practical limitations to a recovery in Missouri and Illinois. The first one being how much insurance money is there? How much insurance is available? If you have a herniated disc in your spine and the defendant has a $25,000 insurance policy, you're probably not going to get much more from them. So then what do? You got to look at your own insurance, your underinsured motorist coverage. So, and we can talk about that, and I've talked about that in other videos, but for today I want to talk about what an attorney does to value your case. When you come to Cantor Injury Law, the very first thing we do is give you a welcoming brochure. It has a letter in there, and it talks about what to do and gives you our contact information. But it also has a series of articles. These are published articles in the Missouri Lawyers Weekly. The first one is Science Center staffer gets nearly $1 million after a fall. In that case, the offer was $500. Tow truck driver's family settles after fatal strike. In that case, the tow truck driver was killed and he was 100 yards away from his vehicle. And we said he was an occupant of the vehicle because of the way that policy was written. And we got $750,000 in a denied case. The next one is driver receives $100,000 in settlement after a rear-end collision. That was the policy limits. That was all the money there was to get. Here's one for $570,000 for an injured student after a car crash. Here's one for $350,000 for a woman. That was the policy limits in a case in Ripley County, Missouri. And I can go on and on and on. The next one is a $1,016,000 workers' compensation trial. Here's a $442,000 resolution for a person that slipped and fell at work. And so the point is that we have experience maximizing the value of these claims, and it's evidenced in the Lawyers Weekly. So the first thing is, what does the lawyer know? How many cases have they tried and settled? The second, and this is what we give out at the end of the case, it's a file folder to keep your important papers. It says, it's a privilege to have represented you. We are honored that you trusted Cantor Injury Law to help you win. Please save the enclosed important documents for your records. And that always contains a check and a disbursement letter. And the disbursement letter itemizes the money that you get at the end of the case. And personal injury money is tax-free. So in the first scenario where I told you the policy limits might be $25,000, you say, well, what money am I going to get? And there's a legal magic trick called the lien statute. And the lien statute says that the most a medical provider can get is half the disposable amount after fees and expenses. So if you have a $25,000 claim and you get the policy limits, they pay you all $25,000, and you have $25,000 in medical bills, and you owe the lawyer a third, You say, how am I going to get any money? I got to pay the medical bills $25,000. I got to pay my lawyer $8,000. There's nothing left. Well, that's not true, because what the lien statute says in Missouri is, in that scenario, the attorney would take their fee, and that leaves $16,000. The most the medical providers can get is half. So that means $8,000 for you and $8,000 for the medical providers. That's it. Even if there's 10 providers and $100,000 owed, they can only get half after attorney's fees and costs. You get $8,000 and they get $8,000. Now, I have a personal policy that I don't take more than my clients get. It just strikes me wrong. I think pigs go to feed and hogs go to get slaughtered. So at my firm, at Cantor Injury Law, we can then circle back around, and in certain occasions we may choose to reduce our fees and our expenses after the parties have agreed to what they're going to get. And by the way, these medical providers know about this law. If they were billing Medicare, they wouldn't get $25,000. I've seen Medicare bills that were billed at $100,000 get paid $1,000. The most common example I see is these air flight helicopters. They might bill $80,000. Well, in those cases, we can frequently get them down to less than $1,000. So at Cantor Injury Law, it's not just how much you receive, it's how much you put in your pocket at the end of the case. So there's two categories. I said there's the category of people that think their case is worth too little, and the category of people that think their case is worth too much. There's another misconception in the law. A lot of people come to you and go, well, I should get a certain amount of times the medical. So if I had $10, I should get 30. If I had $100, I should get 300, 3 times the medical, 4 times the medical. That is a gross misconception. There is no formula in Missouri or Illinois for how much you should get. I've gotten cases where, like I said, this woman was offered $500 for her shoulder injury, and I got her nearly $1 million. That's not a formula. In other cases, I've seen people get $10,000 of care, but the care is too expensive. They're getting 300 or 400 hour treatments for physical therapy that should be $50. So don't look at your medical bills and think that there's some magical formula to determine what your case is worth, because that's not true. My name is Mark Cantor. My law firm is Cantor Injury Law. I've been doing this since 1993. I don't do that thing where you say we've got, 80 years of accumulated experience amongst the 5 lawyers here, or whatever it is. I personally have been doing this since 1993, since before a lot of my clients have been alive. If you have a question, call me, 314-628-9999. If you have a good and legitimate case, I will meet with you personally. I will fight it and try the case personally. I may have assistance because I have many paralegals and other lawyers here, but I want you as a client. I want to help you value the case in a reasonable way to get the most possible. Sometimes it means settling, but not settling for less, okay? Because at certain times, a case is better settled than tried. Other times, you should definitely take your case to trial. Depends on the facts, depends on the risk, depends on the expenses, depends on the analysis. So again, I'm Mark Cantor. Thanks for watching.